What is that? Gas station biscuits and gravy. Let me see. Doesn't get any better than that. Oh yeah, look at that. Don't get it in your beard. You guys are gonna force us to stop along the shoreline at some point. I'm just saying. Okay. We'll throw our gear in, get our waders on. And
go ahead and get your stuff ready and get it on. And
yeah, man.
By the time you're done with that, I'll know what we're gonna do.
You'll know what we're doing. Okay. All right. Here we go.
I'll open up the back of the rig.
All right, sounds good. Look at this. Jim pulled this out of the fishing museum. Actually still wears a vest. That's impressive, man. You classics. You and my dad would get along great. Oh man, not used to the winter steelhead cold on the hands.
No.
All right. You feeling that, Jordan?
We're getting snow Sunday, Monday.
I saw that on the weather this morning. Yeah. Hey guys, good morning. Here we are back out on the water, Fish Hunt Northwest. On the road, on the water with my good buddy Kyle Buschelman, Willamette Valley Outfitters. Once again, back down here on the coast, man. We're on the coastal streams down here in Oregon, and oddly enough, it's perfectly legit. We can fish out of the boat down here, so I'm pretty excited, right?
Yeah, we can use 2 liters. And
we can use double liters. We
double
did
hook,
double presentation, yeah. So we're gonna do a little bit of bobber and jig fishing today. We got Jordan behind the camera and running some Jinglin Jigs down here, which in the past, historically, have done pretty well. We'll take you through a little bobber setup. Maybe later on we find some time. I want to break that down for you, slip float versus a fixed float and the reasons why. But before we get to that, we got some bobber-dogging to do. We can run bait down here.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everything, and we can have barbs too.
And we can have barbs. And we got the tank.
Yep.
Because we're looking to get some fish today for Kyle to drop in for the Broodstock program, which we've talked about on the show a number of times. Successful program down here on the coast, and we're just happy to have the opportunity to help you out.
Yeah,
so.
and it allows us to find some keepers to take home.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Believe it or not, people still like to keep a fish.
They do like to keep a fish every once in a while. I got our buddy Jimbo here. He's down there doing his thing, and looking forward to a great day. A little cold this morning.
It was 31.
Yeah, frost on the ground, frost on the hands. Had to get the heater out. Old hands, old guy. That's the way it goes. So anyway,
yeah,
let's get going down river, man. We got some fish to catch. We're gonna bring it to you guys shortly. And go. Bobber-doggin continues.
Bobber-sloggin?
Bobber-sloggin. Bobber-sloggin, the dual rig. It's kind of nice. You can run these dual rigs. Been fishing a jig with a bead dropper. Fished a bead with actually the second hook, just the bare hook that had been putting some bait in the egg loop. I got those nice little Pautzke trout egg spawn bags that I put together. Those tend to work pretty well. Right now just fishing a piece of raw prawn that's been kind of toughened up in some salt and sugar. Salt to add toughness, sugar to add a little bit of sweetness to it. And just leave it natural white color. This water has about 2 to 3 feet of visibility. It's nice emerald green, and you'd be amazed at how well that natural prawn in its white form shows up in this type of water. Sometimes these wide flats, it's like a needle in a haystack, but when you got 3 or 4 lines out there and everybody's bobber-dogging and we're spread out distance-wise from boat to shore and up and down river, you can actually cover water pretty well. And if most guys are fishing a dual rig like this, it tends to cover the water pretty good. A little smolty. So this here is just a type of yarny. It's actually a little yarn ball you get at the craft store. Add a little oil scent on that, which anytime you add oil to your yarnies like this, it makes them extremely buoyant. So you'll notice if they just put them out there with water, you know, they get waterlogged, they may be neutral buoyant or tend to kind of drag along bottom. You put some, like some Mike's sand shrimp oil on there, like this one has, it actually adds a tremendous amount of buoyancy because of the oil. And then just a chunk of prawn. There's that natural prawn we're talking about. So dual rig, bobber-doggin, about a third of a stick lead on there, and just a nice natural presentation. Now, we just need to find fish. Just add fish. All right, so first fish of the morning, bobber-doggin through a nice top slot up there. Healthy fish, man. This thing. Line peeler. Just running a double rig. I got a bead, 14 millimeter bead on the top, and I just run a little piece of prawn on the bottom. Little piece of white natural prawn. And I just told Jim, I said, yeah, I'm gonna put that prawn on that white, and this color of water stands out pretty good. And it was, I don't know, next cast 30 feet into the drift, and boom, bobber down. So that's another motor. So
Change the camera.
a little pressure on him here.
Got one.
Oh,
It's
dude,
okay.
I just snapped the rod.
All right, you got three.
Dude,
With the steep angle.
Dude.
All right.
I'm so sorry.
On the prawn.
Really nice fish for the brood program. It's got a little color, which means it's going to be, we have to let it sit in the hatchery too long.
So if we got a really chrome fish, a really fresh
We'd let it
fish,
go.
it's not a good candidate because the amount of time you'd have to hold that fish in the hatchery is just too long.
Yes.
It can be hard on the fish. So you guys have a much higher survivability by picking fish that are slightly ripened up a bit, right?
Here we're going to put it in the box, and we got aerator in there too.
Yep.
Now I'm going to let you look at that, but it sits here, and this thing will really liven up. So I'll shut the lid so it can't jump out, but
Right.
when we go to put it in the box here in a little bit, you'll see it could be a chore. We'll use the net, and that's the other thing. This net that we're using for it, it's got a shallow bucket,
Right.
so we can release the wild fish, and also it's easy transport in and out, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense for us to do all this work for our fish and then be rough with the mama and daddies, you know what I mean?
What'd you tell me last week? The mortality rate, like
2%.
2%.
So we had 80 fish,
yeah.
and we only lost 2%. Now, that's because some of them might have been too bright, too long. Could have been transport too, because there's a learning curve with it. But
like we discussed, I mean, 2% mortality. In Washington, they associate a 10% mortality with catch and release on the river of wild fish. So to actually retain fish, put them in an aerated box, transport them to a holding pen in river, and then to load them into a truck, take them into the holding facility at the hatchery, wait until they're ripe for brood stocking, because it's live release, and your mortality is 2%, that's saying something.
yeah, and so today we're supposed to get the other drop box down here at Elahi today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. If it's not there when we go by it, we will let the fish go.
Okay.
Because we're going to get our fish.
Yeah.
And we don't want them sitting
We
here.
would have to take this fish all the way back up top.
And then pull it out and drive it. It would just,
makes
you would
sense.
increase the chances of a dead fish. So.
Okay.
But right now we're on the right page, and safe, good land, and he's really healthy. I mean, you could look in here again, and
It's good fish.
he's sitting there. We only do one fish at a time. Early on, I think some of us got greedy and tried to do a couple at a time, and in there it just was too much.
Gotcha.
Water gets scummy. So right now we're looking good.
All right, well, let's we'll get loaded up. We're gonna head back up top of this drift, and
Yes, we are.
Jimbo's turn.
Yes.
All right, so one thing I've been fishing today is a Jinglin jig with a bead dropper, and it's not that you don't necessarily need to wait till you get to the river to tie your bead dropper onto your jig. You can have them all ready to go. I got an ink fishing board here. I got a variety of different jigs and contrasting bead colors, different sizes, 10 millimeters, 12 millimeters for the most part, and then different colors of jigs based on the watercolor today and the amount of visibility. This pink with the chartreuse head is an excellent choice, so I think I'll pull one of those out of here. And it has a small orange or tangerine bead all ready to go. And again, I'm going to tie this to my rig here in a second, but I tie that to the front part of the jig so that when this is hanging underneath my float off of the eye, it stays vertical. Okay, if we tie that to the back of this hook, especially if you're running bait on that dropper or anything, in this case it's a light bead, so probably not a big issue, but anytime you drag something on the back into that hook, it can offset your jig and makes it hang vertical, and that's not what you want. We want our jigs fishing perpendicular, okay? And so, again, with the way these jigs are built, they're very durable, and you can easily secure that dropper bead right behind the head of that jig. All right, so here we go, basic jig presentation, vertical jig presentation. I got my slip float on here, Bomac ½ ounce. I got my fish peel on here, which is just my indicator that my float has maxed out against my stop, because those little rubber egg stops are kind of hard to see. So as you see, that slides up, that fish peel stops right against the egg stopper. Okay, so ½ ounce, 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce inline sinker, 1/8 ounce jig. That in combination allows that float to ride the exact level that you want it to, based on the color contrast here in your lines. Okay, so that's what we're looking for optimally. We want that float just to be right at that water line. And again, fishing that vertical presentation with a dropper, and this bead is tied to the front side of that jig, so it doesn't offset it when it's hanging in the water column. We want it fishing perpendicular. Drops down about a 14-inch leader to that nice small 10 millimeter peach or tangerine color jig, bead, and in this water it's a great color. So we're going to throw this out there. Apparently that is the Jinglin Jig Duane Fanny Pack, world renowned, and everybody wants one. Let's go. Got the tank in, right?
Yep.
Put this in a couple days ago. We got a fish that's going in the tank.
We're going to try to get it in the tank.
Because we just saw they don't always land in the tank, right?
Right. It just is.
So, how's he doing?
It's doing pretty good. Sometimes you can hold them upside down.
Settle down a little. So that fish has been in the tank for about a ½ hour, 45 minutes, and it's lively. It's not like sitting in that tank they get just a real docile or anything. He's in that aerated water and breathing just fine. He's got all his strength back.
I'm going to take him and try to do one of these.
Yeah, just kind of, this is going to be quick. So right into the tank, if it all goes according to plan. There we go.
Squeeze these in.
Ah, so, nicely done.
Well, we got it.
They do a nice job on these tanks. They're surrounded by floats. You can put your boat right up tight against it, so you're not scratching up your boat on these metal tanks. And so they'll come here today and empty out any fish that are in the tank, right, Carl?
What we do is we call them every day too, just to make sure. But they can sit overnight. There's a lock on there. That way nobody can
steal the fish.
Which happened early on.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a process.
Right.
So yeah, he's in there, and that'll be good. And then.
So we got one for the Broodstock.
End of the day, yeah. There was almost two, it looked like, but I did that
almost two. It happens.
So I'm gonna park right here, guys.
Okay.
You just keep me honest.
There we go. Pretty awesome. Broodstock.